Williams. Mr. Williams, if you would please give us your full name and DOC number.
Ricky Williams, 354230.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Let me explain the process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then the board is going to conduct the interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow the participants who've indicated they wish to speak to have their input. Here speaking on your behalf in support, Mr. Kerry Myers with the Parole Project, Mr. Andrew Hunley with the Parole Project, Mr. Ricky Williams Jr., your son, will be speaking. Ms. Catherine Bryce, your sister, will be speaking, and your niece is present. I believe she'll be speaking in her name is Annette Ware. Your attorney, Mr. Robert Lancaster, and Ms. Simone Smith with the LSU Law School will be representing you. At the end of that time, you'll make a brief statement before the board votes, and then Mr. Lancaster or Ms. Smith will close out for you. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
Let me pull up your computer. This is a matter of Ricky N. Williams, date of birth, September the 4th of 1971. Mr. Williams is classified as a second felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of September the 4th, 2016, an adjusted good time date, January the 4th, 2025, the full term date of August the 2nd of 2025. He is currently serving a 30-year sentence, charges of aggravated battery, attempted armed robbery and purse snatching, and first-degree robbery and attempted armed robbery. All of those sentences happening on February the 8th of 1996. Mr. Williams, is that basically correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, your case has been assigned to Mr. Roche. He will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Williams.
Good morning.
Good. I'm going to address you as Ricky Williams Sr. in difference to your son, who's here on the Zoom. I have a presentation, Mr. Williams, and after the presentation, if any of the information is incorrect, you or your attorney can correct me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, before us this morning, we have Ricky Williams Sr. He's currently 51 years old. He's been incarcerated for the last 27 years and 2 months, and he has served over 85% of his sentence. This is a rehearing. His last hearing was on January 10th, 2018, about 5 years ago. Is that correct, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
And you were denied by a vote of 2-1. The reasons for being denied was the victim was adamantly opposed, law enforcement opposition, and you had a poor supervision record. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
For the purposes of this hearing, I will concentrate on only the activity after last hearing. You're always going to have a bad supervision history. You're always going to have opposition from the victim and law enforcement. That will never change. But I will predicate my decision today on the activity after January of 2018, the date of your last hearing, okay?
Yes, sir.
Since the last hearing, you completed Living in Balance, parts 1 and 2, 100 hours pre-release. You participated in character education tell us what character education is.
Character education is dealing with your character, how you can conduct yourself around your peers, your supervisors and everything.
What did you get out of that program?
I got a lot out of it, sir. I learned how to, be able to communicate with the wardens, my supervisors. It's a lot, sir. I'm a dorm rep, and that's my job, to have to communicate with my staff.
Very good. I see where you attended both AA classes and NA classes. Tell me about those AA classes.
AANA classes helped me recognize my mistakes when I was using drugs and alcohol. I know my triggers, and I've tried to pinpoint my problem. And I think that by me serving in those classes, being in those classes, helped me control my addiction and learn to be a better person.
Question. When is the last time you used any illegal drug?
2004.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being truthful. Okay, now, you also completed the Core 6 program. Tell me what about the Core 6 program.
I think that's dealing with my welding.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yes, sir. That's a welding course that we all completed here at DCI. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry about that. But
Okay.
it's dealing with
Mr. Williams, sit back, relax, and let's have a conversation.
all right.
Okay. Nothing to be nervous about. Now, tell me about your welding certificate. How long was that take, and what certification do you have?
It was a 6-month course. I think I completed like the first base, but my eyesight was bad, so I had to get out of there. But I touched bases with it again. I know the basic of welding. I can't say that I finished, but I attempted, but my eyesight was bad.
Okay. Okay. And I see you also maintain your Pride membership for the last couple of years. How long have you been a Pride member?
Going on 2 years and something. I think it's 2 years. Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Williams, we gotta take the good with the bad. You've had 2 disciplinary write-ups since your last hearing. In August of 2019, there's a Class A write-up for a work offense. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
So, but your last Class B write-up was in June of 2019, and that was at 30D. What was that for?
That was receiving a phone number from a free person, and it was breaking the rules and regulations, and I accepted the blame for that, and I did my time for it.
Nothing really major. And I read the comments of your work supervisor, the comments of your security supervisor, and your classification. And every one of those said that you performed very well since your last write-up, which is almost 3 years ago.
Yes, sir.
and made some very complimentary remarks in your last institutional assessment. Mr. Williams has a low risk assessment. He has a moderate needs assessment. And the only category that he's going high is substance abuse. So let's talk about your drug and alcohol problem. When did you start using drugs and alcohol?
At the age of 15,
The age of 15. What was your drug of choice?
marijuana, cocaine.
And did you abuse alcohol at any time?
Yes, sir.
What was your alcohol of choice?
Liquor, beer, wine.
We know in 203 or 204 was the last time you used illegal drugs. When is the last time you partake in alcohol?
Been 27 years, sir.
That's what I wanted to hear. So tell me what your sobriety plan is. How do you plan, once you're a free person, you can drink alcohol all you want? Of course, it's against the rules and regulations of your supervision, but you can drink alcohol. And if temptation or stress or depression hit you, you might go back up. Tell me what your sobriety plan is.
Sir, I plan to use the parole project for their help and support of helping me with the sobriety plan once I do get out. And once I finish the project, my plans are going to Arkansas, where my family is going to make sure that I stay sober. And they're going to help me find a place so I can go and keep myself sober, because it's not a one-day thing. This is for life. I can't come back to prison. If I touch alcohol or drugs again, I know where I'm coming. So I have to keep my sobriety. I have to maintain that. And with the help of my family and the support of this project, I'm gonna be all right.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
are you a drug addict?
Yes, sir.
How long will you be a drug addict?
For the rest of my life.
And how often do you have to attend meetings?
Every day, if I can.
Your initial transition plan is with the Louisiana Parole Project. Hopefully, it will take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for you to get acclimated and get used to technology. And then your supervision will be transferred to the state of Arkansas, where you would live with your brother, and you plan to enroll in and get your CL.
Yes, sir.
So your opportunity for employment is in the area of commercial trucking.
Yes, sir.
Warren Bickham, you have any comments, remarks, observations at this time?
Yes, sir. Mr. Roche, morning. I don't know if it was talked about, but Ricky is a trustee here. He's a trustee on Compound 4 over there, and his job is a dorm rep. And I'm not certain if y'all know what dorm rep is, but basically it's a system we have in place where we have an inmate that represents their dorm, and we have monthly meetings to come to us and explain what issues they're having, and they can kind of communicate information back to the dorm and stuff. And I call them their constituents. So he does that job. He does a good job. He's Pride as well, and of course the Parole Project is with him. So now his write-up history is good, and he's doing a good job.
Thank you, Warren Bickham.
Yes, sir.
Williams,
Yes, sir.
done a great job the last 4 years. It's been since 2018 since we saw you last, and you've done a great job. As one, like to say, you had a little hiccup, but drink a little water and the hiccup goes away. So I'm gonna overlook the hiccup. And I know you remember the vote last time, but
Yes, sir.
my vote will be different this time. Okay,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Mr. Myers or Mr. Hunley, either, Mr. Myers, I see is here. Mr. Myers?
It's just me. Good morning.
Okay, well, don't reconvince Mr. Roche to go the other way now.
No. What you see with Mr. Williams is a mature, sincere individual who's absolutely focused on his future. He's addressed the issues of his past, and by his programming, you heard the comments of the warden. He has an excellent reentry plan. He has excellent family support. He has parole project, which will provide him the support that we do through his transition. Mr. Williams is ready. His good time date is coming up soon, but being on supervision would be a substantial opportunity for him to show that he is ready. And so we just ask this board to grant his parole today.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Appreciate your comments. Mr. Ricky Williams, Jr., son, Williams,
Yeah, I'm here.
tell us if you would, what you'd like us to know about your dad.
Today I'm in support of my dad being released. It's been 27 long years that I've had to communicate and also grow with my father being behind bars. He showed full support of me growing, as a young man. Like, I didn't want to talk to my dad behind bars, but he's been a true father from as much as he can from behind there. So when he does call, I call him and I ask for advice and everything. Well, he calls me and asks me, and I completely, even, I'm not good at speaking. I'm kind of nervous. Let me get it out. Basically, as a grown young man, my father's impact on my life has been, as much as he can from behind bars, has always been a true father. Whether it was telling me something that I wanted to hear or telling me something that I needed to hear, even when my other mind didn't want to hear it. But as a grown young man, sometimes those are the things that a father needs to say to his son, and he's always been there for me. As for growth as a man, I watched my father become a trustee, get all these certificates while he was behind bars, and to be able to accomplish those things and be under the stress that he's not able to see his family, it's a lot. And to see that, to hear these people talk so good about my father, it's really good. And for his release to be granted, it would be very much a grace for me and my family. Support wise, he has us 100%. I know my aunt would help, my grandfather. Me as a son, I would be there. He just needs someone to talk to about how the world is kind of moving a little fast. It's different out here. And me being a young man, I grew up in this world. I can give him some advice about that. And also to be able to have those face-to-face father-son talks, I've been waiting for my whole life. So, it's a lot. And I'm just here in full support. I'm sorry that I'm not saying it in a great speech. That's all I really can say is, as a son, I've been waiting for this for 27 years. I have a son now myself. So it's I'm able to feel how my father, he wasn't able to see me go to school and everything. So, I just want my father home. I'm sorry, I can't give a speech about it. I just want my father home, and I think he's worked all this time for it. He deserves to come home.
Mr. Williams, thank you very much for your comments. You did an excellent job, so thank you very much. Now we'll hear from Catherine Bryce, who is Mr. Williams' sister, Mr. Williams' senior sister. Ms. Bryce?
Okay, my name is Catherine Bryce, and I'm here in support of my brother, Ricky Williams Sr. and I have seen positive change in Ricky over the years. He has been consistent working on himself, not only on himself, but for the community as well. He is now working, making crafts, and has better outlook on his life. And upon his release, my family and I plan to be there for Ricky financially, emotional, spiritual. We will help provide for him as far as groceries, transportation, and other necessities. We will also provide transportation to any appointments or meeting that he will need to attend. I will be able to help him find work because of my flexible work schedule. I will make sure he gets to work. I will encourage him to attend church with me as I have family with me and my family. We always start a family weekly prayer to help him to stay focused on his release. And since the absence of Ricky, it's very important that we build a stronger relationship and a new relationship with the family that he has yet to meet. Upon release, we plan to reintroduce him back into our community, help him adjust to the outside of the correctional facility, help him become a positive role model in the neighborhood, and create positive memories with the family and friends that he has not met. And this is something is real special to the whole family today because we lost our mother in 2007, and today is our mother's birthday. And so it's real special to me, and I'm getting emotional about this because today is our mother's birthday. And Ricky was not able to be there when our mom passed. He was not able to attend her service. And so, it's just a big thank you. If he get parole and released out, it will be very much pleasing to the whole family.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rice. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Lancaster, I don't see Mr. Lancaster there. Ms. Smith,
I'm up to the side, Mr. Marabella, but I'm
okay.
here.
I don't see you hiding back there. Okay.
But Ms. Smith worked and prepared Mr. Williams for the hearing today. She prepared the packet that was submitted before the parole committee, and she's well prepared to give a closing statement to the committee if you deem it appropriate.
Terrific. Well, we'll have Mr. Williams say any words he'd like to say, and then we'll turn it over to Ms. Smith. Mr. Williams, if you would, anything you'd like to say before we turn it over to Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir. Just a couple of things. First and foremost, to Warden Bickham, because he's my overseer, to the committee. I send my deepest regrets to the family that I hurt, because I never can apologize to them personally, but I apologize that I hurt them people. I apologize for all the wrong that I've caused. I apologize for the hurt that I've caused my family. And I ask the board if they just see fit to just look at me as a different person than I was. I was trouble. I wasn't trouble. I was trouble. And I had to learn from that. And as I look back and see how terrible I was, I deserved everything that the judge gave me. Everything. But I've changed. I'm a different man. And if given a chance, I'm gonna be the better man than I can be if given a chance. I thank y'all for hearing me today. I thank you for just giving me the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Wigg. Appreciate your comments. Ms. Smith, if you'll introduce yourself for the record and tell us what you'd like us to know.
May it please this honorable committee, my name is Simone Smith, and today I'm with my supervisor, Robert Lancaster, and we are affiliated with the LSU Law School Parole and Reentry Clinic. I am representing Ricky Williams, and I've prepared a few statements in support of Ricky, but he is his own best advocate, as you can hear, and he has just taken full accountability and has so much remorse for his crime, as you can tell by his own words. He has fully changed himself, not only in the first few years of his incarceration, but also since his last parole hearing. He has participated in living in balance and in pride, and has gained the support and the respect of all of his security officers and fellow offenders. We were sitting out there just a few minutes ago, and he was encouraging everyone that was coming out of this room. And it's just truly inspiring to see a man like Ricky come from such a dark place to who he is today. So we ask this honorable committee to grant his early release on parole with any conditions you may deem appropriate for his success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Very good job. Well done. Is the panel ready to vote? Mr. Roche, did Mr. Myers change your mind?
I don't think we could have changed my mind on this. Mr. Williams, having sat on your last panel 4 years ago, it puts great joy in my heart to see where you are today. You've come a long ways in the last 4 years. And hopefully those years will serve you well, because we not only want to release you, we want for you to stay released. So based upon a good transition plan with the Louisiana Parole Project, and then with your brother in Arkansas, good family support, positive remarks from Martin Bickham. I think that's as positive as I've seen Martin Bickham in his comments. My vote is to grant you to an interstate compact to the state of Arkansas after you complete your initial transition with the Louisiana Parole Project. Then, after release, I want you to attend at least 3 NAAA meetings a week. You can attend more if you like, but at least 3. I want you to do community service with at-risk youth. The statement said that you were in a bad place and you deserve everything that judge gave you. I want you to tell the at-risk youth about your experience and lead them in the right direction. Our youth today is getting in so much trouble. And law enforcement can't tell them anything, but a former offender who has been in the same place can convince them to do what can't convince them to do. You agree with me on that?
Yes, sir.
And I also want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless the parole officer sees that a better situation for you would be another curfew, since you're going to be a commercial cutback. Good luck, young man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, you've done excellent since the last hearing. And due to the warden's comments and what you've undertaken the past 4 years, I also vote to grant with the conditions that Mr. Roche stated.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Williams, you have 2 votes to grant your parole. You've done an outstanding job since you were here last. Made comments by the warden, and as your sister pointed out, your mother's looking over you today. This is her special day, so your parole has been granted with the conditions as outlined by Mr. Roche. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen, Ricky Williams is paroled. He's definitely paroled. It was granted. And thank God that, he had his family there and they're going to show up for him financially, emotionally, transportation wise. And that makes all the difference, guys. Because when people are getting released and they don't have that support on the outside, then it leaves them open for, back behind bars, because they go back and they start reliving those old moments or connecting with those old people, and to hear that he's going to move out of state is like, okay, you want to get away from things, Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Because you want to be out of the way. You want to do something positive. And for anybody that wants to do something positive with their life, I'm all for it. He took the time. Okay. He went up for parole in 2018. He was denied. He went back up today, and it happens to be his mother's birthday. So what I'm thinking on, 4 years, in 2018, after he got denied, he was like, this can't be life. This can't be life. He's like, I know I deserve to be out. So what happened? He started applying that pressure. He said, I can do this. I believe in myself. And then he had those around him that were believing in him. That's why I say a support system is so important. You have to have a support system. And therapy and counseling, like for me, that's what keeps me. I know that I'm going to have to talk to my therapist, so I'm not going to do anything out of the way, because the life that I'm living now is the life that I worked so hard for. And I'll always be an addict, I'll always be an addict, but it's just, I know those triggers, I understand those triggers. And sometimes they'll hit you from left field, but I just pray. I pray. I ask God to cover my life, cover my family, even cover the things that I can't even control. And I even ask him to cover those that are near and dear to my heart. Those that may feel the way about me, I ask him to cover them people too. Oh my goodness. But yeah, guys, I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm not taking anything for granted. And as a matter of fact, we only have one more case, and that's Mario T. Willis. Okay. So as we wait for Mario to come up. Absolutely. But you know what? We just have to be patient. We just have to, let's not forget about our loved ones behind those walls, you know? Let's not forget about our loved ones behind those walls. You know, my aunt, she's away, you know, she committed a crime and she's doing her time. But even through that whole situation, like what folks don't understand is when your people are behind those bars, they don't need to hear any bad news. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're a drug addict, you know, they're going to seek it out. They're going to want to cover that pain. And as you can see, they get caught for contraband and things like that in there. You know, how many write ups do you have? How many classes are you taking? Like, what are you doing with your time? If you're busy and you're going to class and things like that, you know, you really ain't got time to be in the hoopla, you know, because you got something to do. I mean, I understand that y'all have downtime and y'all might have outside recess and stuff, but my thing is, you know, be in those positive groups, get yourself together. And some of these people have shown us that there are programs in there. You can excel, you can learn different things. You don't have to just be sleeping your life away. You know, like these people have 20, like 30 years and stuff like that. But okay, if y'all ever want to get back out in population, then you're going to have to do the right thing and get those classes. Take those classes. They offer them, take them. You know, and they give you 3 hots and a cot. You got they have jobs in there. You can find you a job. You know, it's like it's the excuses for me. And then, you know, okay, I think I have a different understanding of why they, you know, throw these parties. Okay. Now I can see why. Okay, now you're back into reality. You done paid your debts to society. You have your plan, you know. And so, okay, I can get a party. But here we go back in court.
Okay, our next case is Mr. Mario Willis. Mr. Willis, if you would please give us your full name and DOC number.
Mario Timon Willis, 721-259.
Mr. Willis, let me explain our process to you. I'm going to read some information into the record, then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow the participants who wish to have input to have their say. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Those people who are present today speaking on your behalf, your mother, Ms. Susan Willis Capers, a friend, Ms. Rose McCullough, and another friend, Ms. Suzette Spears. Additionally, Mr. Edward Spears is here as a family friend, but he will not be speaking. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Mario T. Willis, date of birth October the 2nd of 1987. Mr. Willis is a first-time offender. He has a parole eligibility date of May the 12th of 2021. He has a full-term date of September the 16th of 2034. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence on the charge of molestation of a juvenile, having been sentenced on August 1st of 2017. Mr. Willis, is that all accurate? Mr. Willis, are y'all frozen up on us?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we're in the process of our interview. It looks like we're frozen up, at the institution. So we're just trying to correct that, problem right now here.
All right, so listen, we have,
I think we are.
Mr. Marabella?
Yes,
Okay, we're back. Can you hear us?
okay. Can y'all hear us there?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now. Apologize. I don't know where that technical difficulty was, but we're back.
That's okay. Y'all have been kind of blanking out most of the morning. We could hear you well, but it frees up every so often. So, not sure where we are now. Let's,
I'll have.
can y'all hear us now?
Yes, so we can hear you. There's no, it's frozen on the picture, but we can hear verbally.
You're also frozen. on the
Yeah,
two.
it froze back up again.
Can't be the weather.
What do we do?
You see the static lines in the picture?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, they've been kind of freezing up all morning. I mean, their lips weren't going with the words at all. But the words were coming through. We wouldn't
The
even
audio was
the
coming
words,
through,
yeah.
but the video was. I think y'all forget.
Okay, we're back.
Mr. Willis, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. I think I did.
Yeah.
I got one through. Yeah. Years and lots.
Yes, you did.
Mr. Willis, you can hear me okay?
Yes, sir, but you're going in and out.
Okay.
All right. I think we're good now for, at least for the time being, Mr. Marabella.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Willis, your case was assigned to me, so I'll be the one to begin our interview process. Mr. Willis, how old are you?
35,
How long have you been in prison on these charges?
8 years.
Mr. Willis, tell me a little bit about your educational background. How far did you go to school?
Well, I dropped out actually in the streets in ninth grade when I came to prison. I got a chance to get my high set in 2018. And then I recently enrolled in Ashland University where I'm pursuing my bachelor's in human communication.
Now, let's go back to 2014. What kind of work were you doing back then?
Well, at the time I was working at a funeral home, but I was also volunteering within the school system.
Tell me about your volunteer work within the school system. What did you do within the school system?
Well, underneath Southern University of Shreveport, they had a program where they were launching a community development thing between troubled schools and Southern University of Shreveport. And so they had asked me, because I was kind of big in the community, they asked me to go to certain schools and volunteer. So at the time, I was
Let me stop you just for a second. You say you were big in the community. What does that mean? Explain to me what that means.
oh, well, I was active inside of the church and different small community events within the city of Shreveport.
Okay, and how old were you at that time?
About 25, 26 years old.
And did you have a job? Did you have a full-time job, a part-time job? How were you
Yes, sir.
active? Was that just volunteer work, or was that for paid work, or what?
No, sir, that was volunteer. That was strictly community service, but my living was J.S. Williams Funeral Home.
Okay, so you actually made a living what did you do at the funeral home?
I did first call pickups and dressing and casking, and also funeral attendant.
So let's talk a little bit about your volunteer work. What kind of volunteer work did you do?
Well, I would go into the school systems and kind of help a lot of the school administrators deal with troubled teens because myself, I came from a very troubled background and troubled community. And so I kind of understood how to deal with troubled teens at that particular time.
What was your relationship with Woodlawn School back then?
At that time, I was allowed to come in through Mr. Anthony Tisdale, who was the principal, to come and deal with the at-risk teenagers because that school was a failing school.
Now, did you have a title? Did you have an office there? I mean, were you there on a regular basis, or did you just come in periodically?
I came in periodically, mainly like 3 or 4 times a week. I didn't have an office or anything like that, just kind of floated around.
And what did you do when you were there? I mean, what was your role as helping the at-risk youth?
Well, I helped more in the discipline sector of the school when kids got in trouble.
And how did you help with that? What sort of things did you do?
Well, at that time, I would kind of sit down and counsel them alongside the assistant principal and talk to their parents and different things like that.
When you say you would counsel, what do you mean? Did you have any training in counseling, or was it just because you had some street smarts and trying to help them stay on the straight and narrow?
Yes, sir. It was mainly street smarts and just based on failing so much in life. I had that type of experience.
Were you some sort of a security guard there as well? I mean, did you have any other role there at the school other than?
No, sir. No, sir. But they used me in security, but I wasn't hired as security.
What do you mean they used you in a security role? Were you like a security officer there?
No, sir. No, sir. But like when things happen, like fights, different things like that, I would have to report to the city, help break up fights like that.
Now, there's also a program that you talked about, I think you operated called J-Hound. What is that?
Repeat that, sir.
J-Hound? You had a program you operated J-Hound?
Oh, no, yeah, JPAM was the actual system that the school used to pull up the students' disciplinary record. And so we would use that to give the students a point of where they are at their current moment and where they need to be in order to pass their grade.
And how long had you been, how long did you work with the Woodlawn School, Mr. Teasdale? How long had he had you there?
For 2 years.
Tell me how you came to meet DB.
Well,
The victim.
DB was, yes, sir. DB was a student that was at risk of failing that particular grade, and he came across through the assistant principal's office, and they allowed me to counsel him one-on-one or just deal with him like that.
When did you first start counseling him?
I think it was 2013, I believe 2013,
Did you know any of his family members?
at the time.
So tell me what happened between you and DB that ultimately led you into prison.
Well, he asked for a ride one day from school, and he got permission from his parent, and I took him home from school. And at that time, I made a pass at him because I felt he was vulnerable, and I made a pass at DB, and we had sexual intercourse.
Okay, now you were 25 years old,
Yes, sir.
were asked by the principal to come to the school to counsel these students. DB was 16,
Yes, sir.
and you made a pass at him because you knew him or thought him to be vulnerable. Tell me what that means. What did you mean by that?
Well, at that time, I understood that he trusted me, and I took advantage of his trust based on me struggling with my identity.
And so what happened? What did y'all do? How long
Yeah.
did y'all,
Sir,
tell me what all went on? How long did this go on?
this went on for about a year. I would take him home, back and forth from home, because he stayed outside of the school district.
Did anybody else know about this?
Well, now they do since I've been in prison.
I understand that, but at the time.
Oh, no, sir.
Now, Mr. Willis, I've read all of your statements, and basically, from till just this moment, I think, you always blamed DB as being the one who came on to you, who initiated all of this, who kind of found you to be vulnerable, so to speak. Now, is that the position you've had all along? How did that change? When did that change?
How did that change when I entered into the risk assessment sex offender program here at DCI? And I began to learn some of the 27 risk factors, and they deal with blame. It brings you to a reality where you understand that there's no way in the world that a 16-year-old could be the aggressor. I had to learn to take the blame and stop trying to justify what I did.
Tell me about your health issues. I mean, you know how this all came about, huh? How it got discovered. I mean, he was horribly ill in the hospital. He had all kinds of illnesses as a result of what has been attributed to you giving it to him. What was your medical? I know at some point you had a venereal disease. Did you ever get tested for AIDS or HIV? Did you ever have any
Yes,
of
sir.
that?
I did. But I got tested in April 11th, I think the month of April 2013.
And what was the results?
It was negative. I didn't find out I was positive until October 2014 when I came to prison.
So you did find out at some later point that you were positive.
Yes, sir.
You didn't know that you had had syphilis previously.
Yes, sir.
Did any of that dawn on you while you were having these relationships with this young lady?
No, sir. I was completely no conscious out of my mind. No, sir. I had none.
What is your medical condition now? And how are you physically now?
At this particular moment, I'm undetectable. Take my medicine every day, every afternoon.
What do you think, how do you think what you did affects DB?
I feel like he'll never have a normal life ever again. Ever. In fact, I know for a fact he won't have a normal life again. And not only did I affect him, I affected his family, myself and my family, and also the community for those who trusted me.
Now, I believe you indicated you were going to go back to the funeral business if you were to get out.
Yes, sir.
What kind of work would you expect to do when on the outside?
Well, I'll simply be at the funeral home, dealing with the casketing situations when they deliver caskets to the funeral home and funeral attendant.
What are the most significant programs that you take? You talked about sex offender treatment. What do you think you've learned the most since you've been in prison?
You know, from the 27 risk factors, one of the most crucial things I learned is that in situations like this, you cannot play the blame game. You have to take responsibility for your actions. No longer try to justify what you did. There's no justification for messing up, especially a young person's life when it comes to sex offenses. Another program that I've taken that has been good for me is the victim's awareness. Well, I understand the ripple effect. Not only did I affect the victim and myself, but I also affected the victim's family, my family, the community, and all those who trusted me. And that'll take a lifetime to regain their trust.
You're a member of, you're a Pride member,
Yes, sir.
Toastmasters,
Sir?
Toastmasters,
Yes, sir.
member of the JCs.
Yes, sir.
You've done a lot of good things while you've been in there, you know. Mr. Willis, I've got to say, I'm very concerned about the effects of your crime on this young man. In the position you were in and the position of trust you had and as you opened up our interview, you know, you knew him to be vulnerable and you made past that. How can I be sure that something like that isn't going to happen again?
I believe now that I've faced the reality of who I am now. Who I was is two totally different people. Now I have
yourself to be now. Who are you now?
I'm a man who's honest with myself and my identity. I'm a man who have learned from his mistakes, totally learned from his mistakes, and have lost so much from community connections to family members who no longer really, know me as that fake person I used to be. Now here it is, I'm honest with myself, and I've developed a line of communication with my support system who now can love me for who I am and support me in my future endeavors.
Did you go to trial or did you plead guilty?
I pled guilty.
And the agreed upon sentence was 20 years?
Yes, sir, 5 of which should be served without possible probation or parole.
Do you think crime that you committed, having served 7 years, is sufficient?
As it pertains to the programs I've taken, I've literally exhausted every program within the Department of Public Safety Correction that's demanded of me to be rehabilitated.
What would you say to DB if you had an opportunity to say something to him and to his family?
I would say, first of all, I'm sorry. And I understand that there's nothing I can do to change what happened. Not even heaven has power over that. But I do understand that you'll never, ever have a normal life again because of my irresponsibility. And I took your trust and I balled it up. And I understand that for that, you may be angry with me for the rest of your life. And I can understand that. But I promise you, it was never my intent to destroy your life. I want to sincerely apologize.
Mr. Willis, explain to me why you were doing this community service. What were you getting out of this community service? Because, I mean, I think it was a wonderful thing that you were trying to do, but, you know, I wonder if you were just preying on people because they were vulnerable. You know, the old proverbial fox in the hen house kind of thing, you know? So what were your thoughts back then as the 25-year-old guy? I mean, you just met this young boy and you found him to be vulnerable and boom, you moved in on him.
Yes, sir. Well, at that time, like I said earlier, I didn't really know who I was, but I still had the compassion to help people. And because I understood a lot of the schools that I went to were failing schools, I understand they needed help. And there was nobody else in the community to stand up. Although I was struggling, I still had a heart and compassion to help people avoid some of the mistakes and miseducation that I also experienced. I never graduated high school, so my sole mission was to help other people. At that time, I failed. I honestly failed because I didn't really know who I was, not understanding I could not help somebody else become who they need to be, except I know who I am.
Well, it concerns me because you just took, and I'm glad you took the sex offender treatment, but you just finished that program this year. So up until, I guess, you took that program, you've been blaming that boy.
No, sir. Actually, I started that program in 2018 when I got to Hunt's Correctional
Understand,
Center.
you finished it in 22.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but up until then, you kept blaming that boy. He did it, he initiated this, he started all that. How does a 25-year-old man with street sense who wants to help people blame a teenager?
That was a 25-year-old man who was in denial about who he was and his responsibility, and him having to be accountable to people.
Mr. Willis, it sounds like you're moving in the right direction. I appreciate your comments. What can you tell us about Mr. Willis?
Good afternoon. You touched on his programming and so his record pretty much speaks for itself. His disciplinary in his class speaks for itself.
Thank you, Gordon. Now we'll hear from your supporters. Let's hear from your mother, Ms. Capers. Ms. Capers, if you would, please.
Yes. Mario, in visiting Mario and talking with him on a regular basis, he often shared those classes and the things that he's learned. I do believe that he has been and is working on his rehabilitation. He has a host of family and friends that will support him if he's granted parole, that will support him in his continual rehabilitation. I actually have him with a appointment with a counselor. Then we would make sure also that he has whatever he's needing as far as a place to live. He'll be living with me, transportation, and whatever is needed to continue his rehabilitation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Capers. We appreciate your comments. Ms. Rose McCullough.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Dan. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great.
Why don't you tell us what you want us to know about your friend, Mr. Willis?
Well, actually, Mario shared with you that he worked with the school system, and it was there that I met Mario for the first time. And of course, we worshiped at the same church. So I had an opportunity to observe him for some years. And in observing him, he was a team player. I saw him as being a team player, always helping to make things happen for the school, the community, and government. very, very hard worker. It's just so happened during Christmas of 2021, I was compelled and unctioned to find Mario because by now I'd really missed him. And I started a search looking for Mario. I started with my former colleague, Sheriff Steve Prater, to see if maybe he was located here in Caddo Parish. And of course, Steve said he didn't have him. Fortunately, I was able to locate and contact and locate and communicate with his mom. And I found Mario. Since then, I have established a bond with Mario's mom, Mario, and I don't know if you all are familiar with his prison ministry. Working with his mom, we've been seeking several agencies, therapists to address any and all behavioral, mental, and medical needs to help him function in society. As a former guidance counselor, I assured his mom that I will be by her side. I've assured Mario that I would be there for him. Currently, as his mother stated, he's scheduled for therapy on October the 28th if he's released. It's been noted, that incarceration rehabilitation is a waste of money. This sometimes will perpetuate the same behavior, but due to stages of development and levels of maturation, there are some experiences of trauma. And this is what concerns me, not just about Mario, but being a teacher, a servant in the community. There are stages of development and levels of maturation in a person's life. They have experiences of trauma. And in having those experiences of trauma, let's just say from a child, they never share it with anybody. What happens is that trauma is transferred or inflicted on another human being. I'm sure just by communicating with Mario, he knows he made a mistake. And we all do. Some of us just don't get caught. But it is written, when I was a child, I spake as a child. Now that I've become a man, I put away childish things. And I think based on everything that Mario has brought to the table, all that he's gone through, he knows who he is now. He's no longer what I would say that child anymore. He is a man now. Mario was then 25.
You can wrap it up.
40.
2 seconds, okay?
I can't hear you.
If you could wrap it up for us, please. We've got some other speakers that we want to hear.
Okay, but I really believe in Mario. I don't condone the behavior. I'm a mother of 3 sons, 44, 40, 38, and a daughter 33. But having served 8 years of a 20-year sentence, 8 representing new beginnings, I'm asking and pleading with the board for mercy on Mario's behalf, allowing him a second chance. There's a great work ahead of him, and with proper supervision, support, and rehabilitation, he can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Suzette Spears.
Hello, I have only known Mario and his mother for a year now. And I've had an opportunity, my husband is also at this meeting. We've had an opportunity to speak with Mario and to get to know the man that he is today. I have worked with him and he has shared with me some of the things that he wants to do once he is released. I have become very good friends with his mother, and I also pledge to be a part of his support structure when he is released. I do think that he is on the right path, and I do believe that when he is given another opportunity, that he will do as unto God what he is supposed to be doing. And I do believe that he will become a better man with all of the support that he has around him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beard. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Willis, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
I would like to say that I'm no longer the same man I used to be. I've been changed. I can no longer change my past, but I can change the future and help our community be better and help crime prevention.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Panel, Mr. Willis, I appreciate your comments today. You've worked pretty hard, done some good work. You've taken some programs. I think that you've recognized some issues. I'm very pleased to hear you accept responsibility for what you did now. For the longest time, I don't think you did. I think you're moving in the right direction. I still think there's ways for you to go, though. You have a moderate static 99. You have law enforcement opposition. You have victim opposition. The nature of the crime is just horrible. You abused your position of authority. And I think that 7.5 to 8 years or a 20-year sentence is just insufficient at this point. But I do commend you for what you've done. I hope you continue to work as hard as you've worked. And perhaps the next time, if I'm still on this panel, my vote might be different. But today, my vote would be to deny. So good luck, Mr. Rocha.
Mr. Marabella, my vote is the same for the same reasons.
Freeman?
I concur with both of my colleagues and my vote's the same.
Mr. Willis, we encourage you to continue your hard work. You've got good family support. Perhaps next time might be different, but today is just not the time. Good luck to you, sir. Warden, thank you very much for your help. I think we're finished and we're going to close out.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great day. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. 8 years on a 20-year sentence. Unfortunately, the board members denied Mr. Willis parole. Well, on that note, that concludes our show. I definitely want to thank you all for coming out to the Goddess Queen Tulsa show. I'm your host, Queen Tulsa, and until next time, we are out. Hello, and thank you all for coming out to the Goddess Queen Tulsa show. Support Black Queens. Your goddess sends gratitude to you today. Thank you all for coming out to the Goddess Queen Tulsa show. You could be anywhere, but you are here with your host, Queen Tulsa. If you're a new subscriber, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, we definitely appreciate you. We really hope you enjoy the show.